What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some huge information for you guys as E3 2021 has official information on what's going to be going down with dates and times, and I'm going to tell you guys why Nintendo's set to have a huge show for the Nintendo Switch and a little bit more. But we've got tons of stuff to get into. But before we do, please make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe if you are someone new, as I'm going to be dropping daily E3 content coming up here, and I drop live streams all the time, so you're going to love it around here. Now, let's go ahead and get right into the news here, guys. E3 2021, the official E3 Expo site, has given some new details and information on this year's big show. So they had a post on their website, e3expo.com, and here's what they had to say. Official E3 2021 award show set for Tuesday, June 15th. Key video game industry media partners will judge games featured during the 4-day E3 broadcast to determine the most anticipated games of the event. Oh, here we go. We already know right there, there's going to be some problems. Judges, huh? All right, well, we'll see about that. So anyway, Los Angeles, June 1st, 2021, selecting from titles that will be showcased during the 4-day live E3 2021 broadcast that begins on Saturday, June 12th. Editors from IGN, GameSpot, PC Gamer, and Games Radar Plus will determine the winners for the official E3 2021 award show. Now I'm actually kind of concerned at this point. No offense to the people that work there. No offense to anybody that works there, man. But yeah. But anyway, we'll see how it works out. Anyway, results will be announced during the last day of the broadcast on Tuesday, June 15th. For this year's event, we are collaborating with editors at some of the world's leading video game media outlets to create the official E3 2021 award show, recognizing the show's most anticipated games, said Stanley Pierre-Louis, president and CEO of the ESA. The broadcast is going to be packed with exciting announcements and reveals, and celebrating innovative publishers and developers is an ideal way to close E3 2021. The esteemed media panel will focus on selecting the most anticipated game of E3 2021, as well as recognizing the most anticipated titles from each participating publisher and developer. The E3 live broadcast will be hosted by Greg Miller, Jackie Jing, and Alex Golden Boy Mendez, and as well as featuring new and upcoming game reveals, will also include publisher press conferences, developer interviews, panel discussions, and much more. In addition to the E3 broadcast being included in the official E3 2021 portal and app, the primary hubs to watch the broadcast include E3's Twitch channel, which I'll have links to all this for you guys, all right? E3's YouTube channel, E3's Twitter, E3's Facebook. The all-digital E3 2021 experience runs from Saturday, June 12th through Tuesday, June 15th. Media, creators, and industry professionals and fans are encouraged to visit the E3 2021 website for the most up-to-date information. The E3 2021 EPK can also be found, linked in the description below. I'll have a link to the site where you guys can do that. So it's just interesting because they're talking about the official award show and what's going to be going on there, but you see like the schedule starting to form. The hype is starting to build a little bit. Yes, I am a little bit worried about this award show just because, like, if you look at it, I'm not trying to hate on these different companies that have these people. I'm pretty sure they do a great job at reviewing, or all the stuff they do on there, but it does seem like there's going to be some issues here when it comes down to it. I mean, I can already just tell from the game awards that we've had. I mean, and this is even a smaller panel of people out there. So shout outs to IGN. I'll give IGN shout outs to them. Brian Altano, Per Snyder, all those guys, Casey, they're fantastic. They had me on the show, so I trust them. I trust the people that I mentioned, but I don't know about everybody else, but we'll see how everything works out, guys. We'll see how it works out. But I think the more exciting thing here is not the award show. The more exciting thing here is the anticipated game reveals and kind of what's going on there, and why I think Nintendo's going to have a huge presence at this year's E3. Now, I talked about this in my video recently on the channel. I think not yesterday, but the day before. We talked about Nintendo being a pinnacle sponsor for E3 2021 along with Microsoft, but I think that Nintendo, with them being that pinnacle sponsor, on top of that, them having a lot of different types of things that have somewhat leaked here and there, and other kind of murmurs and rumors going around, there's a lot of buzz and hype. And even if you look at the games that they've released this year, not the biggest titles that they have, but still some pretty good games. We got Mario Golf Super Rush coming out pretty soon here. They obviously had some deals like Bravely Default 2. They've had Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. That was was great as well. So they've had some pretty good stuff so far. They've got some more third-party games coming and all that. So I think that we're going to see some huge announcements. People are getting hyped, or at least anticipating an announcement for hardware at any point at this point. You know, I mean, I don't even know by the time that you watch this, something might have already been announced. I'm not really sure, but either way, man, I'm excited for E3. I'm excited for Nintendo's E3. I think they're going to have a big show because of that Pinnacle sponsor, because they've been pretty much hyping it up and they're actively participating in making sure E3 continues to thrive. So obviously Nintendo has a vested interest in making sure E3 is a good show this year. So I'm excited for it. But what are your thoughts when it comes to the schedule taking some shape here, and also the award show, what you think Nintendo is going to have? And yes, I will have a predictions video probably next week. I'll do an EP predictions video, so you guys can look out for that. But yeah, what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We've got a release date for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Yes, it's been some time. It's been a while, but you know who we're dealing with here? Sega. So here's what it says here with this. Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis will launch worldwide on June 9th. Sega has announced / confirmed. Now in North America, Phantasy Star 2 Online New Genesis will be available for the Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. In Japan, it will be available for the PlayStation 4, PC, and the cloud with Switch and also PC. Now, if you missed any of the information on this game, I'll have links for you guys so you guys can check it out in terms of it. I haven't been keeping up with Phantasy Star Online 2. I played like the beta a little bit ago that barely worked for me. I played it on the Xbox One X, I think, back when that came out. I know I streamed it for a bit and I just couldn't get into a room or like a ship or whatever. And then once I finally got in, like it timed out after a little bit. But it does seem like a lot of fun. I actually played a ton of Phantasy Star Online back in the day on the GameCube. They had Phantasy Star Online 1 and Phantasy Star Online 2. I actually still have the physical GameCube game with that game, and it's fantastic because it's completely offline. You can play online with the GameCube's limited functions that it did have, but you can also play 4-player split screen offline as well. And I really wish that Phantasy Star went back to actually being both. I know this Phantasy Star is heavily reliant upon online gameplay, which is fine. That's what it is. It's an MMO. I get that. I think the gameplay is really good. I think the classes are fantastic, but I would really like for them to kind of just go back and make it a online game that you can play, but also a full single player offline experience as well. And this game might have it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just from that beta or whatever, I didn't see any options for it. And if you can do that, let me know for sure, because then I'll definitely be interested in it. But as of right now, this game just seems to have so much stuff because it's such an old game that's just been updated for like the past almost decade now at this point. And they're finally bringing it over officially to the West after so long. I just think that it was unnecessary, and I don't want to turn this into like me just kind of critiquing and criticizing everything that Sega is doing with this game, but it's just kind of hard not to, considering the history of this game and how long it took and what it was before in terms of when I played it, because I played all the Phantasy Star games. I even played that one on the Xbox 360, which I didn't really like that much, but I still played it and thought it was okay. I can play offline. So we'll see what they do going forward in the future. I know there's been some confusion on whether it's going to come to the PlayStation and also Nintendo Switch here in the West, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. I know Microsoft has an exclusive deal. They helped them bring it over. So Microsoft's trying to increase their Japanese game presence, and this is one of the games that they selected to do that. But I'm thankful that they did get that localized, because it looked like Sega was never going to do it. They were never going to pay for it to come over here. So I'd rather have somebody do something than nothing happen at all. Maybe I'll check it out on the Xbox Series X. Maybe I won't. Just depends. But it's June 9th, so it's coming up pretty soon here. But what are your thoughts when it comes to Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis? Plan on picking this one up? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We've got a big game announcement here. Crysis Remastered Trilogy coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Nintendo finally gets their Crysis 3 that had so much controversy back in the day. So Crytek has announced Crysis Remastered Trilogy for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It will launch this fall. Now, Crysis Remastered Trilogy will include the Crysis Remastered game, Crysis 2 Remastered, and Crysis 3 Remastered. Crysis Remastered is already available, and both sequels will be available individually as well. So no matter how you did it, or no matter how, if you already bought it, you're not getting screwed here, because you can just pick up the other two games individually. You don't have to re-buy the first game if you don't want to. We're excited to announce these iconic Crysis games that are returning in one bundle, remastered for a new generation of hardware, said project lead Stefan Halbig in a press release. Each game is enhanced to look and play beautifully on today's platforms, delivering the finest Crysis experience for both newcomers to our classic franchise or players wishing to relive the adventure. So there is an overview of each of the games and like what Crysis is, Crysis Remastered, Crysis 2 Remastered, Crysis 3, and the scenario plots for each one of them. I have played Crysis Remastered. I played that, or I played Crysis. Or did I play the remastered ones? No, I played Crysis. I played the original Crysis. I played Crysis, I think 2 or Crysis 3. I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was Crysis 2 on the Xbox 360, so I played that. And Crysis 3, I don't think I've played that at all. I might pick this up once it's discounted. I'll probably get it on Xbox Series and just check it out. I'm not big on first-person shooters though, but I do think that Crysis is one of those like legendary franchises. I remember people back in the day, can your PC run Crysis? That was the thing. Like if you have a God tier or beast tier PC, it better be able to run Crysis at a decent rate. That was the thing. So Crysis always kind of had like this infamy online in terms of the game. I never really liked it too much in terms of me just playing it myself, but I always thought that it was cool because of how they pushed the tech and how the graphics were and how people would always talk about like PC gaming and how it was getting more integrated into what console gamers were doing too, with Crysis coming over to the consoles finally after being a PC style of game. So it's pretty cool to see these three games finally coming over to a Nintendo platform as well, because the controversy was back on the Wii U days, Crysis 3, that game was actually ready to go. Crytek had that ready to go on the Wii U, and EA killed the deal because of their bad business with Nintendo. So Nintendo finally gets their Crysis 3, right? They finally get their Crysis 3, and they get Crysis 1 and Crysis 2. So good stuff there. So what are your thoughts on Crysis, the remastered trilogy? Planning on picking this one up this fall? Let me know your thoughts and what platform you plan on getting it in the comment section below. And we do have one little bonus topic that I wanted to get into, because this news broke as I was streaming and I had already finished the video, but I wanted to cover this because I think it's actually important. Whether it's correct or not is not necessarily the point. The point is that we are prepared to attempt to beat out the bots when it comes to if there is some type of Nintendo Switch revision, Nintendo Switch Pro, that is going to be going live for pre-orders soon. So Central Leaks actually talked about this on Twitter and gave us an update. So I'm going to go over the original tweet that they had and the information, then I'll get into the update that they did put out. So they said originally this: we have received and verified a screenshot from a big retailer's internal system that shows a new Switch hardware related listing will go live on June 4th around midnight, and they did say CST or whatever, so that's going to be Central Time, so that's going to be 1 hour behind East Coast time and 2 hours behind Pacific time. So for example, midnight in Central will be 10 p.m. West Coast time and will be 1 a.m. East Coast time. We're talking about here in the United States, so learn those time zones there. They also stated that's all we have for now. There's no other data / attributes in the listing right now. So that was the original article. People started peppering them with questions in terms of time and all that, and we already went over it. But then they also released an update to that, and they said this update: there's a second listing that has a June 30th date, probably a placeholder. The June 4th date is oddly specific though. So what are the rumors going on here? Well, that Nintendo will reveal the Nintendo Switch Pro or Switch Revision soon, before E3, because there are developers who have Switch Pro enhanced games that want to show them off at E3, and of course you gotta have something announced so people know what it is. Now the current rumors going on right now is that Nintendo is going to reveal the Switch this week. Some people are saying Thursday, some people are saying Friday, but if the rumors of this whole thing with a pre-order going live on June 4th, they would definitely have to announce the thing. They'd have to announce it on Thursday. They'd have to announce it on Thursday sometime at that point. They don't have to necessarily announce it tomorrow for pre-orders for the West Coast that go live on Thursday. That'd be June 3rd. They'd have to announce it by Thursday, just sometime in the morning, if the pre-orders go live on the 4th, like they're saying it's going to go when it comes to midnight and all that. They'd have to announce it on Thursday. There's like no ifs, ands, or buts if that one is correct. Now, it could be false. There could be a placeholder. They did have an update here saying that it's going to be June 30th. That's one of them. But the June 4th one was oddly specific. So we'll see what actually happens with this. The reason why I'm talking about it, because there's been a myriad of Nintendo Switch Pro rumors. Some of them I cover, some of them I don't. But the reason why I'm talking about it is so that we are prepared. It's better to be prepared and then end up being, okay, false alarm, or it wasn't correct, than be not prepared and then it ends up being correct, and then what? And now we're caught unprepared, and bots can have their field day when it comes to these. So I want to make sure that everyone is prepared and ready to go and on alert for when this happens, so you can pre-order the system. So we'll see if it actually happens. We'll see if Nintendo has something for us. But yeah, it looks like there might be something coming up when it comes to Nintendo Switch Pro. So I'll have links for you guys, description below. You guys can check it out yourself on there. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys, we have another big reveal that's set right around the time of E3. The next Battlefield game is set for June 9th. So publisher Electronic Arts and developer DICE will reveal the next Battlefield game on June 9th at 7 a.m. PT/10 a.m. Eastern Time. The companies have officially announced. Now, this Battlefield game apparently is going to be a full next-gen tech showcase. This is going to take advantage of the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, the PlayStation 5. It's really going to be the biggest, most expansive Battlefield game yet. They've been teasing it. They've been hyping up this reveal. And while I'm not a big first-person shooter fan or even a big EA Games fan, I will say that I'm looking forward just to seeing what they have here with Battlefield. I actually used to play Battlefield back in the day on PC. My friend's ghetto PC, we had the Battlefield 1942. That's back when online gaming started getting kind of hot when it comes to the first-person shooters and all that. And I was actually enthralled with Battlefield. Like, whoa, look at all these characters that you can have on screen and all this stuff that's going on. World War II games were popping at that time, so I was very interested in the Battlefield style of game. So I did play that, and I've played some of the other Battlefield games as well. I just kind of fell out from first-person shooters, but I will be checking this one out afterwards. I'm not going to stream it or anything like that because it's 7 a.m. I'm not waking up for EA. That's too early for me to wake up for anything from EA. Unless it's a Mass Effect reveal, then, you know, I'll be there like an hour before getting ready for that. But it's not Mass Effect. It's Battlefield. So I'll definitely check it out later down the line. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys were informed on what Battlefield was planning next. June 9th. So that's not too long from that at this point. And once again, this is kind of the lead up to E3. Even though EA is not officially at E3, it's still on the hype of E3 and what's going on there. So are you guys excited for the next Battlefield game? What are you guys looking forward to it when it comes to the reveal? If you are, let me know that in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you think about the official E3 shows, Phantasy Star Online, Crysis Remastered. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you for the next one. Peace.